That's the check FIFA is writing for the 2026 World Cup, the largest prize pool in the history of team sports, bigger than the Super Bowl, bigger than the Champions League final, bigger than any tournament ever played in anything. The winning team gets $50 million, but here's what almost nobody tells you. The players lifting that trophy will never actually touch that check. Not directly, not in full, not even close. So where does $871 million actually go? Stay with me, because by the end of this, you'll understand the full money machine behind the biggest sporting event on Earth, and who really gets rich when the world is watching. First, you have to understand how extreme this number really is. In 1982, the World Cup winners earned around $2 million. Back then, it wasn't just a tournament, it was a prestige event. Money existed, but it wasn't the engine. By 2002, the winners' share jumped to around $9 million, still relatively modest compared to modern sports economics. Fast forward to Qatar 2022, and the total prize pool exploded to roughly $440 million. That was already considered massive, but 2026 doesn't just grow, it jumps. We're talking about an estimated $871 million total, a leap driven by a simple but powerful change: expansion. For the first time in history, the World Cup expands to 48 teams. That means more matches, more broadcast hours, more sponsorship exposure, more tickets sold, more everything. And when the product grows, the money follows. Now here's where the structure gets interesting. The money isn't handed out randomly. It follows a ladder, and every step on that ladder is worth millions. First comes the base payment. Every one of the 48 national teams earns a guaranteed amount just for qualifying, roughly $12.5 million per federation. That includes two parts, a participation bonus and preparation funding. The idea is simple: help teams travel, train and compete at the highest level without financial barriers. So before a single ball is kicked, FIFA has already distributed hundreds of millions across the globe. But the real escalation starts once the tournament begins. Out of the total pool, a massive chunk, around $655 million, is performance-based. That means you don't just get paid for showing up, you get paid for surviving. Advance to the round of 32, and the numbers climb again. Each stage becomes a financial step up. Round of 16, higher again, quarterfinals. Now we're entering territory where single wins are worth more than entire budgets of smaller national programs. By the time you reach the semi-finals, you're not just playing for history anymore, you're playing for tens of millions of dollars in incremental rewards. Now pause for a second and think about that. In some countries, a single Deep World Cup run can generate more money than the entire annual budget of their national football federation. One tournament run can fund youth academies, infrastructure, coaching programs, and development pipelines for years. That's why smaller nations treat qualification like a national project. It's not just sport, it's economics. But here's the twist most people miss. That $50 million prize doesn't go to the players, it goes to the national federation, the governing body of football in that country, the administrators, the organisation, the people behind the scenes who manage logistics, contracts and national team operations. FIFA doesn't pay individuals, it pays institutions, and then the federation decides how to distribute it. This is where things get complicated. In most countries, players receive a percentage of prize money, usually somewhere between 20 and 30%. That percentage is negotiated ahead of the tournament between players' unions and federations. Sometimes it's generous, sometimes it becomes a conflict, and sometimes it turns into open disputes. That's why something strange happens in international football. The prize money is not the real motivation, because the World Cup is not just a tournament, it's a global spotlight. And that spotlight creates value far beyond the pitch. One standout performance can reshape a player's entire financial future. First, sponsorships. A player who suddenly becomes a breakout star can see endorsement deals multiply overnight. Boot manufacturers, sports brands, watch companies, telecom sponsors, they all want association with the next global face. In a matter of weeks, a player's off-field income can increase 5 to 10 times. Second, transfer value. Football clubs don't just watch the World Cup, they price it. A player valued at $20 million before the tournament can explode to $80 million after a strong knockout run. Clubs factor in exposure, pressure handling and global recognition. The World Cup premium is real, and it's repeated every 4 years. Third, contract leverage. If players don't get most of the prize money and federations only keep part of it, who actually benefits the most? The answer is FIFA, because while 871 million sounds massive, it's small compared to the overall revenue ecosystem. FIFA's projected earnings for the 2026 cycle are expected to reach around $11 billion. When you compare the numbers, the prize pool is less than 10 cents of every dollar flowing into the system. In other words, most of the money doesn't go to the teams, it doesn't go to the players, it doesn't even stay in the host countries. It circulates through a global commercial structure built around a single event. And then there's the host city question, the part that gets more controversial every cycle. Cities and countries spend billions preparing for the tournament. Stadium upgrades, transportation systems, security operations, tourism infrastructure. In theory, the economic boost from tourism and global attention is supposed to offset the cost. In reality, the balance is uneven. That's the machine. So when you strip everything back, the 2026 World Cup isn't just a sports tournament. It's a financial ecosystem layered across 4 levels. The federations receive the official prize money. The players receive career-defining exposure. The sponsors receive global visibility. And FIFA receives the largest share of the economic output. And the players lifting the trophy, not just money earned on the pitch, but value generated around it. $871 million doesn't sit in one place. It moves through federations, contracts, media deals, sponsorships, and careers. And once you see it that way, the World Cup stops looking like just a tournament. It looks like a global financial engine that runs on football, and 2026 is its biggest version yet. Because in the end, the trophy's made of gold, but the system behind it, that's made of money. Would you like it? Hit the like button and subscribe to our channels for more interesting and informative videos.